One of my favorite things is when somebody says to me, "Hey Jake, I have a set, this is what the set is," and I go, "Fantastic, I've always wanted to make a video on a Cabin in the Woods set, here's my idea." And then I can fashion a story to fit that being, and I love it because there's more motivation. There needs to be a motivation whenever you make anything, I think. So for me, it's like using music and using a concept like Goosebumps, or using a set. That's my motivation to create something different. My conceptualization process, music. I need music to be able to visualize. So the process generally begins, we have this wonderful music library that we use called Audio Network, and I just kind of go through, when I'm bored, sometimes at night I'll just go through Audio Network and just listen to all the music that they have, like all the stock music. And then I'll start getting images or like kind of a sequence of events that will play out with that. So for example, the Goosebumps video, that first song that we hear, which is called Haunting, I just heard that song and then I just envisioned in my head like the camera floating through like this space into a cabin, like this whole thing kind of happening, and then I liked that idea and I liked that concept, so it was kind of, how could I take that and form that into a fully fledged video? So since it is kind of Goosebumps, I wanted it to have a little bit, we'll see, hopefully there's a little bit of scariness or an underlining feeling of foreboding. So the real feel of that is I wanted to do it in a few ways. One is that it takes place in this dilapidated like cabin or house, and I focused a lot on, I didn't want a lot of cuts. I wanted really to emphasize that you, the viewer, were in there with me. And so you'll notice that we do a lot of like 360 moves where the camera spins all the way around the room, and I wanted to do that to show that we're just enclosed in this space, to hopefully feel a little bit claustrophobic. And then the only time where we really break out of that moment is when we're trapped in the room with Slappy and we cut. But with that one, that was really just like straight up atypical horror movie style, I think, where it's just like flashlight, you see the thing, it's gone. Oh, kind of just playing with things that we had on hand. So we had a lot of lights. Okay, so how can we just dim those at points or use them to flicker just to add a sense of terror, of something else controlling the elements around us? And then really just utilizing the camera, the way that it floats, or the way that it stays there, and we're stuck. We basically have kind of like sleep paralysis as the viewer, and we're just stuck in this movement of just moving our heads like an owl just around, but we can't actually go anywhere. Goosebumps! I loved Goosebumps growing up. I think every kid loved Goosebumps. I used to get the Scholastics little paper catalogs that you would get in school, and I would always order the Goosebumps books. Always, always. And Night of the Living Dummy was the most terrifying one to me because I just have a fear of dolls, and that one was always very scary to me.
My childhood was haunted by the Furby.
Oh, yes.
Because there was no off switch, and in the middle of the night, me want to play! No thanks. No thanks.
And you slowly look back, it's just closer and closer to you every time you look at it. Furby, no! Jakob!
Yeah!
Let's do this!
What time do I
Jakob, let's do this!
Yeah! Okay.
Draw me like one of your French girls. That's fine. Or if we could just draw eyes on my eyelids so I can sleep during the whole game. That'd be fine.
Yes, when did you finish writing the script, Jake?
Finished it probably about, what, like 7:30 in the morning?
I think so, yeah. After having written until, like, 11 or midnight?
Yeah, wrote until midnight, went to sleep, woke up at 4 a.m., finished the script at 8 or 7:30 a.m., and here we are. Jack Black was lovely. He was really, really nice. And, you know, we sat down and we went over the script and just kind of like what his character was doing and his movements, and we blocked it. And he memorized that whole thing in like 5 minutes. It took him no time at all. He was just kind of in the corner going over the lines again and again and again. And he added a lot of great insight, because obviously he's played R.L. Stine for months. Like, he was this character, so he added a lot of great insight to the character.
You got so much to say. I know. You don't remember it all?
I did.
Oh, massive monologues. I'm impressed.
It's always intimidating directing not just like an A-list actor, but anyone. Is always terrifying. And especially the only person I usually have to direct is myself. So it is very weird working with somebody else, because I know exactly what I want, but you have to give them room to breathe and room to create their own version of it.
All right. I love it.
So it was just a lovely experience, and I think he enjoyed it, so that's good.
Easy.
Right?
Easy part cheesy.
I have been told, this is more for the viewers at home, I don't know, and also so I can say it out loud and feel good about myself, that I have lovely skin.
You do have lovely skin.
You see?
Don't worry, I'm gonna edit this so you don't say that part. So just hear Jenny go, "You have lovely skin."
So she's just gonna say, "You do have skin."
You do have skin.
Long takes they're very interesting because a lot of times you don't really notice that it's a giant long take. Maybe at the end you'll be like, oh wait, was that just one shot? Did it ever cut? It's more difficult to do just one long take and make it interesting because you have to have a lot of moves. Camera has to move, I have to move. You have to have somebody pulling focus to make sure that I'm in focus the whole time. You have to have somebody operating the Steadicam remotely so they can do pan and tilt functions properly. So there's all these people, it's like a ballet. So it's very complicated and it pushes me, I think, to be more creative. You can just do cut, 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 but if you make one long fluid piece, I think it just feels more alive and more natural. And especially when you are with me there, when you're the viewer, you don't just blink your eyes and then you're immediately someplace else, or blink your eyes and then you're in a close-up. No. You blink and you're still in the same place unless you move, and I love that. Slappy is a character who is from, for me, the most terrifying episode of the Goosebumps original series, Night of the Living Dummy, and the book were terrifying. So being able to work with Slappy was really cool. And being able to work with Avery, the man who actually makes Slappy come to life and does the voice, was so cool. The kind of stuff, sorry, I'm gonna geek out for a second. One, as we all know, I love puppets and I love puppeteers because I think the craft that it took to make the actual puppet is mind-blowing. Like the thing, it had, his whole face could move, and then Avery, there's this rod that uses all these different levers on it, and that's what he uses to give expression to this inanimate object, but he does it so well that he has to, through this, like, be the character, and it's incredible. I have so much respect for Avery and for other performers like that.
I actually just recently watched an episode with Slappy in which he falls in love with a little girl, and like kind of like the bride of Slappy.
Not my proudest moment.
Whatever, stick with the force.
Whoa, it'll send you straight to hell. Whoa, whoa, closer.
Whoa.
Music is my editing process. I always find it weird when I see other people's edits for stuff and they don't have music in yet. Like, ugh, I can't even edit without me. I need the music in there because that's, you have to, I always need to pace it to the music, and I know that's not traditionally how you do it, but I already know exactly how everything's going to be because of the music. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna go to this point, and I time it out, and then like, at this big crescendo, then this happens, and then, okay, we go down a little bit, and then this is gonna happen, and then we go back to this point.
I have learned so much from you, Satan. Whoa.
So the first, because we only had Jack Black for about an hour and a half, we had to do 2 shots with him, we only had Slappy for about 3 hours. The challenge was, in the intro, making it feel like it was one take and it doesn't ever cut until I appear. That was kind of a trick. So we filmed Jack's section in the beginning, then we cut. Then we filmed Slappy's section, then we cut. Then we filmed my section. Because the whole intro shot, if we do it as, oh, it's one take, it's about 3.5 minutes. That's a lot of time to try and get it, and we just didn't have that. So that was the hardest one to edit together because we had to make it feel like it was one continuous piece and that we never cut.
Why do you always die in your videos?
Okay, well, we don't know that I died in this one. I like dying at the end of videos because I think it's just like a funny trope. It's like, oh, Jake just dies at the end of everything. It's just kind of funny. And also, I remember when I was in school, my film class, the teacher was like, the worst ending you can do is to kill yourself at the end. It's like the most cop-out, cheapest ending. So I kind of like just doing that. Be like, I'm just gonna die every time.